Well, it's 70s and it's expected to be 70s as highs here in Virginia, which means that cool down is finally here. Let me know what your temperatures are like in your area. That should actually be the comment of the day. So we're going to get into that before the intro today. For today's comment of the day, let me know what your temperatures are and expected to be as high temperatures over the next coming week or so. Let me know in the comments down below and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get into the intro. Now, as always, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. Let's get straight into the video. This is the past 30 days, and it has been warm over the northeastern United States, north central United States, the plains, the Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, the Southwest. Pretty much everywhere outside of the Southeast and the Northwest, it has been warmer than normal. Here was the first 15 days of September, and it was actually colder than normal for many more regions in the east during this time period. Even you can see up there for the Dakotas, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then especially the southeast and through the mid-Atlantic, and a bit of the Ohio Valley as well. The first 15 days of September seemed like we were going to have a very, very cold month. But here is the past 7 days. As you can see, that did not last forever because after the 15th, we basically got into this pattern of very, very warm in the east, summer-like pattern, and then very cold in the west. We call that a negative PNA, and actually that cold out west is what is causing the warm in the east. So we're going to be watching for that to come to an end, for the warm in the east to come to an end as well. And actually, as we take a look at the past one day, as we take a look at the last day or so, you can see it has been very warm along the eastern seaboard and a lot of the Ohio Valley and the Gulf states as well. But we do see that it has become warm over the western coast of the United States. And that is the beginning of the end of that negative PNA and the beginning of the positive PNA. We can also see that that cold air mass has moved a little bit further east. It's into the plains, the Rockies, areas like that, and it is extending further and further east as time moves along. Here is by time we're reaching this morning, Wednesday, September 22nd, and as you can see, that warm over the western United States really takes over, and that colder air is now over the plains in the south central United States as well as the north central United States. The eastern seaboard here is still warmer than normal. Everything takes time. Patience is a virtue. That will be coming to an end very, very shortly as this cool down is moving extremely quickly, actually, this cold front. And by the time we even reach about 2 p.m. today, that was maybe about, I would say, approximately 8 a.m. So 8 a.m. to 2 p.m., here's the difference. Look at that. It has moved all the way to where now the southeastern United States is included. The Ohio Valley and the Gulf states are the heart of this cool down by this point, even the Great Lakes. There's still a bit of a warm-up there, still hanging out around the northeastern United States and a little bit of the northeastern coast. But that is very quickly coming to an end, and the western United States is being taken over by a positive PNA, which is what causes the colder air to make its way to the eastern United States, as I stated before. Now, what we're going to do in a moment is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on towards tomorrow afternoon, on Thursday, September 23rd, where things will get even colder, and then we're just going to continue to move on in that fashion. All right, now here is about 2 p.m. on Thursday, September 23rd. And as you can see, we see some colder than normal conditions setting up over the eastern seaboard by this point. The Northeast is still trying to hold on to that big warm up. Usually, this is very interesting, but it is very common, actually, for us to see a lot of the eastern United States dealing with one type of a condition, in this case, colder than normal conditions. But then kind of the New England states and some of the other northeastern United States see the opposite. Typically, this means there's a negative NAO in place. We'll take a look at that in a moment, but sometimes a negative NAO that is too far negative can cause some warmer than normal air temperatures over the northeastern United States. So this is the current setup. We have those greens and blues everywhere. That is 10 to 15 degrees below normal in the greens, and then those purplish blues within the green, that is 15 to 30 degrees below normal. So this is a significant cool down. And actually, now after this one, let's just move this towards about 2 p.m. on Friday. This is where an Arctic blast comes in. And I want to clarify this, by the way, because in the comments, I've had people message me as well. This isn't an Arctic blast. An Arctic blast to me, you tell me if this is wrong to you, but an Arctic blast is a cold air mass that is blasting down from the Arctic regions. I don't know how else you could describe an Arctic blast. Arctic is referring to a region, and blast is referring to I'm assuming an air mass blasting down from that said region. That is how I perceive that kind of word there. But I think everybody's entitled to an opinion. It isn't really a scientific term, so it is kind of up to whatever you see it as. It's not like an officially used term or anything, so that's just how I see it. But this is, in my opinion, an Arctic blast that is heading down through the north central United States. We still see our first cold front. This one is not an Arctic blast because it came from the western United States, not the Arctic regions, but it's still set up over the eastern United States by 2 p.m. on Friday. But we see this next one heading in through the north central United States, and it actually meets with the first cold air mass there, as you can see, by time we're reaching about 2 p.m. on Saturday. That's going to be September 25th. So now there's just one big cool down over the eastern half of the country and one big warm up out there for the western United States. And by the time we reach about 2 p.m. on Sunday, all of this should be coming to an end. That is September 26th, and as you can see, we're seeing near normal conditions for the eastern United States. There is some blue showing up for the western United States, and by the next frame, take a look at that. Colder than normal conditions set up over the western coast. That is a negative P&A trying to reinsert itself into our pattern, and that is what is allowing for this warm air to once again move into the central and eastern United States. So it's working just like I said it works, by the way, that the P&A is controlling this entire pattern. We see the P&A flip negative, and instantly it's like warm air is back for the central and eastern United States. That is clear evidence that this is what is driving this pattern. And by time, we're going to just take a big jump here. By time we reach about 2 p.m. on October 1st, it's going to be a Friday, we can see a positive P&A tries to reinsert itself, just like the negative P&A reinserted itself. So it's kind of flip-flop in here. We see a positive P&A come back, and we see colder air move back in for the central and eastern United States right around October 1st. So that negative P&A pattern is not expected to last too long as of right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on and take a look at some actual temperatures, and then we're going to take a look at the teleconnections, the reason why all this is happening, and then we're going to close out the video. Now, a lot of people might be wondering, how does this change what's actually happening? What am I going to feel when I go outside? Well, here is the temperatures yesterday, the high temperatures yesterday, and this is, the high temperatures. And as you can see, we have 90s down there for the south central United States, a lot of the southeast and the mid-Atlantic states dealing with 80s, even some mid to upper 70s making their ways all in up and through the Ohio Valley and some of the Northeast as well. We do see some upper 60s for some regions that are very far northward that typically see some temperatures like this. The upper Midwest, by this frame, and a lot of the Great Lakes are already dealing with the cool down, so they're not really included because they're already seeing the cool down. But this is by the time we reach about 2 p.m. on Saturday, September 25th. And as you can see, we see mostly lower 60s to mid 50s even for the Ohio Valley. We see a lot of the Great Lakes and the upper Midwest included in this. We see mid 60s still for the Northeast. Again, they're not really included in this cool down. They see that negative NAO that is really causing them to stick with the warmth. But for a lot of the southeastern United States and the mid-Atlantic, and even especially there in the south central United States, we've seen a flip because they were dealing with kind of mid to lower 90s on the last frame we took a look at. And now they're dealing on this frame with some 70s and some lower 80s. We see the southeast mostly mid 70s and then up and through the mid-Atlantic lower 70s. So this is going to be a nice early fall temperature here. I mean, lower 70s feels quite pleasant. That's when you start to feel, if it's a little windy, I mean, you're going to feel that little bit of a chilliness in the air, especially this time of year. I think we get used to the summer temperatures, and then, lower 70s and upper 60s can feel very cool right after the summer, but in the spring, this would feel very, very warm. It's funny how our bodies just completely adjust to what's going on around us. It's amazing, actually. Matter of fact, here's the teleconnections. I hope that was informative about what you can expect, but AO is positive and expects to go negative. This is our Arctic oscillation. In this negative phase is what allows for Arctic blasts to come in, and I think that's why we're going to be seeing an Arctic blast. It heads negative, and we see that Arctic air really shove in right about then. And this stays negative and kind of hovers back towards neutral. This is an ensemble model, and we can see these ones kind of try to normalize in the longer range, so I don't know for sure if that'll happen. Mostly the first half of these are going to be the best bet. NAO, again, this is what is mostly causing those warmer than normal conditions over the northeastern United States. This one's positive but heads negative around the 26th. I think that's what causes a lot of that warmer air for specifically the New England region and colder air for everywhere else, basically. And then our P&A, again, this is the driver of the pattern. In its positive phase, we see colder than normal conditions able to make their way into the eastern United States. And in its negative phase, it really prohibits that from happening. And as you can see, we're in the positive phase until about the 26th. Then we had negative, and then we bump positive for around the 30th and the 1st of October. And then we kind of trend more and more positive. And even when we take a look at our European weeklies model, this one goes much further. It's trending positive for basically the entire month of October as of right now. Take that with a grain of salt, but that is worth mentioning that we could be in mostly a positive P&A pattern upcoming throughout the next month or more. For today's confidence tab, we're at a 5 out of 6 because the cooldown's already happened. We're already here, and a lot of it's happening in the shorter range, so our confidence is at a 5 out of 6 for that reason. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, when do you expect to see your first snowfall for your region? And James Marr said, I live in Maine, so sometime mid to late October on average. Super interesting there. That just goes to show that we're only about, 20, maybe 30 days away from snowfall happening in some of our northeastern states, which is a key sign that winter is on the way. Very exciting stuff there. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, John Benbenek, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Larry the Pan, and Donna Carnes, alongside our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalesa, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Cindy Klein, Mark J, Luke Flego, Gary, Sean Colisi, Dwight Phelan, and Stephen Kernenthal. If you'd like to be a part of this very awesome Patreon entry today, you can do so by joining our very exciting Patreon page in the description and in the pinned comments down below. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Hair Farms 1, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. This will be located next to the subscribe button down below if you are interested in joining. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.